Yes, it's that time for our bi-weekly chit-chat with Dr. Jaimie Ronchetto from Cinema Veterinary Center located in beautiful downtown Valencia, cinemavet.com. And I have a question. What has 4 legs and ticks? And no, it is not a walking clock. We are talking sometimes our dogs and kitties, especially when they've been out in this time of year. Especially what I've noticed, Dr. Ronchetto, is there's all kinds, like an abundance of insects out there. And it's like the daddy long legs, I usually don't mind. You know, if they come in the house, just let them do their thing. But they're like banging to get in.
Yeah.
As it's not just the daddy long legs. With the wet weather we've had and the blooms and everything else, there is an abundance of everything, and especially ticks, right?
Yes.
And ticks are something, if you go hiking out here, especially, I've noticed one time we went along Rice Canyon there, which is just off of the old road south of Towsley, and we were covered in them. The dogs were fine because they had protection.
Right.
But we were covered in them. So they are out there, and they are nasty little buggers, aren't they?
They are. There's lots of parasites out there this season. Like you said, because of the rains, we're going to see a ton more. So not just mosquitoes, but the ticks, the fleas, all of those. So it's really important to keep your animals protected. Typically ticks especially would be more a question of your pet's lifestyle. So certainly outdoor cats. And if you do take your dogs out in the hiking trails and things like that. But we may be seeing them closer to home just because we have had so much wet weather. So that's something to consider. Many of the products out there will cover for both fleas and ticks. You have to be careful because sometimes not every product will cover for all types of ticks, and there's many different species. So it's often best to ask your vet which products for out here may be best to get the best coverage. And
how do you know when a dog or a cat has a tick or ticks?
Yes. So you typically will see them. The hard part is that ticks can range from itty bitty tiny, like the head of a pin, up to very large. And that's usually once they've been on your pet for a while.
They've been feeding,
yes. So they get very engorged and large at that time. But typically you will see them that many times owners will come in thinking they have a growth. Their pet has like a skin tag or a growth. But if you look really closely, the growth has legs.
Yes.
Little legs that will move. So if you see that, you can certainly bring them into your vet and they will help you remove it or show you the proper way of removing it. If you feel comfortable at home, then you need to take some tweezers and go as close to the skin, so as close to the head as possible, and very gently kind of pluck them out.
Yes, there are also we got the little tick removers. They're like little teeny, almost look like 2-pronged kind of forks, but they're tiny.
Right.
Don't use your real dinner forks, by the way. and those, because tweezers I've noticed which work as well, but sometimes you accidentally pinch the doggy, and for some reason they don't seem to like that very much.
Yeah,
that and just also make sure too, because I made the mistake too and found out one of my older dogs, it was in fact a skin tag, and he was freaking out.
Oh no!
Why isn't this thing coming? Hold still, So know the difference. Look for the legs. You're right.
Yes.
And just gently, and then of course get rid of them real quickly.
Yeah.
But don't let them jump on you. But what happens? What are the possible dangers of like especially ticks? What can happen if they're not treated?
So ticks not only just being gross, obviously, they do carry a lot of diseases. So we have tick-borne diseases, certainly Lyme disease you've heard of. There's other ones called Ehrlichia, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, just to name a few. So we want to get those ticks off of your pet as soon as possible. And, the sooner the better to help prevent the transfer of those types of diseases. Most of the time, they would have to be attached for more than 24 hours to be able to have any sort of tick-borne illness be transferred.
But even still, quite dangerous. Always check with your vet. I think that's a good idea because there are treatments out there, but you're right that they don't necessarily cover everything. And if you live out in the hills or you especially near anything where there's wild growth and stuff like that, that's where they seem to happen.
Absolutely.
If you're an avid hiker, it happens too. So who do you find that doesn't like tick removal more, dogs or cats?
I've seen ticks more often in dogs out here. I think because for the most part, we're pretty good about keeping our cats indoors. Neither of them really like it very much. But they're usually pretty good for it, you know.
And that's the thing, just depending on how close you are and how quickly, the thing is also trying to work quickly to get that and then grab the tick. Because that's, I know everybody's probably, it's making my skin crawl a little bit, but I think it's really important because this time of year, a lot of, and I see that. The reason why I thought about this is I'm starting to see social media posts where people take pictures and like, what is this? How do I get rid of it?
Right.
And I thought it was really important to do that. And of course, if you're not sure or if they start exhibiting some sort of symptoms where, they're not eating or lethargic, especially after that, bring them into the vet.
Yeah, that's the hard part is sometimes we never see them. You know, they can be so well hidden, in between paw pads or in an ear that they could come and go and we never know about it. So certainly if your pet's acting sick in any way, then we should, potentially screen for those diseases.
Exactly. Dr. Jaimie Ronchetto, Cinema Veterinary Center, cinemavet.com. The number is
661-253-9300.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, Doctor.